to tell me it was all kids or all adult photos. I'm sending the only kid picture. That's why. Also love you, Mom.
It makes your mom happy that you did that, I'm sure.
Shout out to all the mothers.
We've seen 18 free throw attempts already, but high activity on the defensive end. That one-on-one pride on the Connecticut side that Coach Mezian wanted to see. Cook got Rivers up in the air, attempted to bank it in. Another offensive rebound for Seattle. They now have 4 in the game. Clock down to 6 for Melbourne. Drives it, tries to bait Van Lith, and Haley Van
Counting the ball screen, forcing them baseline.
Van Lith tries to go downhill. Morrow already hit from deep earlier. Kennedy Burke, pass deflected by Van Slooten. Houston leads the charge, no look feed. Van Slooten wide open and scores.
What you'll see a lot from Grace Van Slooten is just being able to rim run. She gets out and runs.
State started out at Oregon. Van Slooten, a 3rd round pick, made the Storm roster out of camp. Burke with the drive, bounce entry to Morrow, could not deposit it in. Van Slooten has been active on the glass, and that's to Claire Simmons when she does the T signal, but Van Slooten, was it something? Cook bobbled it and lost her footing out of bounds. That's a turnover, number 3 for the Storm.
Utility on this team, and a lot of the players can play multiple positions, but they're at their best when they get defensive stops and get out and run.
Rivers came for the ball, but Cook with the steal. Got her fingerprints in the kitchen. Nelson Adota rips down the rebound. Covered well, they have numbers the other way. Rivers zigzag to Morrow and stuffed. Melbourne with the hustle. Lets out a roar.
It was really the drop quickly on that.
Anissa Morrow with her 2nd triple of the first half.
Continue to develop the 3-point shot. She's not only an interior type of player.
It was just 24% a year ago, and 1 for 5 on Friday. Has 2 on 2 tries this afternoon. Sledger Walker, Australia, on their national team. It wasn't long ago when Jade Melbourne was one of the youngest players in the league. At the last 2 years with the Washington Mystics, back in Seattle for year 4.
What stands out to me the most for effort, it filters throughout the rest of the team.
Morrow in attack mode. Hook shot is good. Anissa Morrow pours in 2 more, up to
versatility offensively from Morrow has been impressive. You see it from the 3-point and the inside.
Sun have not led today, down by 3. 2.5 minutes gone by. In quarter number 2, Melbourne the kick. Van Slooten a 3, good. Grace Van Slooten knocks down a 3.
It's basketball from Seattle Storm, having your big step out and shoot the 3.
Leisure Walker can't answer. Van Slooten only attempted 2 threes.
And she realized once you get to the WNBA, you have to be able to shoot the ball.
You want to make the team, you've got to stretch the floor as a big these days in all levels of basketball.
And especially with this offensive system that Coach Rahman has.
Cook with the spin, uses the armbar in the paint. Dolson on the glass, cleans it up. Timeout, Connecticut.
Still learning itself, and it's such a young team, but I also feel like it may be the most promising young core for Seattle.
Exciting times for the folks in Seattle. 4 WNBA championships in their tenure. Morrow, a bit of a heat check. Neepkins fresh into the action. Fires just before the shot clock hits 0. Cook in transition, looks for the trailer. Johnson's been lethal in that trailing position. And there's a foul, it's on. Walker, her first WNBA start today, Gabby.
Yeah, you know what? And she's not shying away from it at all. In the huddle, she's being super vocal. This is exactly what they need from her, right? But this is a big moment for her. She was drafted all of, 3 weeks ago, right? And she is not shy in this moment. She's being super vocal in the huddle, making sure her teammates know what she needs from them and what she needs.
Winning a championship and then going through the process of being
% from 3. Leisure Walker, a career 78% free throw shooter, takes care of business. It to 6 with 6 to go in quarter number 2. Natisha Heidemann got the start at point. Former Sun, was in Connecticut for 5 seasons. Johnson hunts her shot, elusive, finds Holmes in stride.
What Flau'jae Johnson does a really good job of, secondary defender, and opens up her slipper.
Slipper.
Roller. Slipper,
Oh, that's
roller.
good. I like that. I have never heard it that way.
I actually don't think I've even ever said it that way.
Assists, 14 buckets for Seattle. Connecticut, 10 buckets, 35%. Neepkins falls away and scores. Gianna Neepkins, her first at Mohegan. Heidemann speeds. Morrow got the hands in. They converge in the paint, which small delay with the shot clock. Seattle shooting 52% from the floor. Van Lith in a two-player game with Griner. Flings around the pick, jumper, got it. Haley Van Lith is on the board.
Haley Van Lith has one of the nastiest Mifa pick and roll. She gets to her spot on the floor.
Midway point, second quarter, 4-point game. Johnson puts the head down and drives. Burke stole it. Snatched up by Morrow.
Connecticut has adjusted defensively on Johnson to take away the drive.
Oh, Morrow rack attack. Too small. Timeout. Seattle. Pleasure of watching it courtside.
Gets me fired up.
And Connecticut, once down 38-30, they've cut it to 2 on a 6-0 run before the Seattle timeout. More contact under the basket.
Need post-ups.
Melbourne's at the line, 3 of 4 so far today. The Sun and Anthem and Carolina RX are working to support children in Connecticut. For every and one donated to Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater New Haven. Gotta make the free throws count. 40-38. 25 combined free throws. We still have 4 and change to go in the first half. Sun and Storm in search of their first wins. Griner, 13th season as a pro. Fade away off the front of the iron. Holmes and Van Sluten, terrific off the bench at the front court. Johnson leaks inside, and Griner with the stare down after the foul call.
Seattle's really difficult.
Did you foul when you defended at Fordham?
A lot. Like, who did it?
Did you get away with it?
I feel like every player
That's
fouls.
a no.
Defending without fouling, it really is understanding the angles and the tendencies of an offensive player.
Holmes was daring Morrow to shoot, drives it. The former teammates at LSU as she motors ahead, finds Melbourne. Way short on the 3. Morrow's been everywhere. Rips it away from Holmes. Has played with a lot of spice. Burke a 3. Rebound Dolson. Seattle by 4. Johnson. Trickery. Step back 3-pointer. Way short.
Tough shot. Great contest by Morrow.
Burke's got the rock. Kick it out. And there's a whistle from the weak side.
And that was a good defensive stop by Anissa Morrow. The change of pace from Flau'jae Johnson.
As for Connecticut, Leisure Walker in her first career start with 3 fouls. Feed inside, Griner floats it up and in. Brittany Griner has 6.
Brittany Griner on the block because she knows there's a potential double team that could come.
An illegal screen by Dolson. We're going the other way. Done her entire career. Connecticut has not led today. Down 2. Griner with the catch from 12 feet. Up fake, spray it out. Van Lith for 3. Johnson boxes. An update from the Seattle side.
Yeah, from the Seattle side, had a chance to catch up with their coaching staff. They just said really what we were missing right there in that first half towards the end on that Sun run was physicality. And yes, it is that fine balance of finding the physicality while keeping it clean, right? You've got Dom in that foul trouble. So how can they figure out to up the physicality while managing to keep it clean?
Dolson hits the deck. Just a vet that knows how to play their role and fill that bucket. It's a youth movement for Seattle. They lost their top 5 scorers from a year ago. Heidemann creates space. Jumper flutters off the iron. Griner pulling box out.
If you're Seattle, you want to attack Griner, especially with the 3 fouls.
Okay, we'll keep an eye. Starting units for both teams. Leisure Walker with 3 fouls in the first half. A feed inside. Claire Simmons, the official, penalizes Dolson. The Storm gets an explanation. Miller thought about the 3, jab step, kick it out. Rivers played 14 minutes in the first half, just 2 points, and the Sun cough it up. Horston, the no-look lob, intended for Milan.
Just a little bit too much air on that pass.
Storm now 9 turnovers. Connecticut has scored 10 points off of them. They won that battle. Kick out Griner. They swing the rock. That's a skip to Rivers. Sidestep jumper. Horston leads the break. Bounce entry, Malonga. Butterfingers.
Right now, Seattle just not so connected in the transition.
There was a field goal drought at the end of the first half, and it's bleeded into the second half. Horston is swatted at the former Bruin. Up the floor, kick out, and a deflection. It's 2-on-1. Miller catches up to Heidemann, looks for the trailer Dolson. One dribble three. Rebound, Ledger Walker.
Stephanie Dolson, that trailer three at the top of the key.
Miller gives it a try, too strong. Rebound, Malonga. There's a lid on the rim.
Team to slow down, to calm down. They've had a few empty possessions.
That's the leadership role she's embraced in year 8, 5 years with the Sun, and she finally gives Seattle a field goal in nearly 8 minutes.
And really has established herself as a tenacious scorer.
Burke hit a 3 to give the Sun the lead. Late in that foul, Mackenzie Holmes checks in. Griner, move off the ball, passed up a layup. Rivers a 3. Well, that might be one the Sun want to have back. Rivers now 1 of 8 from the floor. Heidemann scoops it in on the other end. Bookmark that one.
Wide open layup.
Miller, wide open look. Got it. They went under the screen.
Can go.
Diamonds are forever, up to 11 points. Third member of the Sun in double figures, a 4-point Connecticut lead. Johnson looks for space, crossover on Rivers around the world, and Flau'jae Johnson draws the foul.
Another thing to note too, Brendan, with having Stephanie Dolson on the bench, she's the one who could really that this system of Seattle that allows her to flourish offensively.
Without a doubt, Sonia Rahman pours in to her young players. There's investment from a player development standpoint. Griner, jumper over Holmes.
That's where Brittany Griner has that 6-3.
BG's got 12 on 6 of 9 shooting. 13th year for the 10-time All-Star, the Olympian and gold medalist. Holmes parachutes, Burke won the race, and a turnover. Flau'jae with the interception. And draws another foul. We're saying the word bars. There are bars in those songs. First miss. Loud ovation for Morrow, who had a double-double in the first half. Comes off the bench today. 12 points, 11 rebounds. Joins as well. That trio of Morrow, Van Lith, and Griner flipped the script for the Sun. Miller in the post on an island. Dipsy-do, poked away. It's still Sun ball, 9 on the shot clock.
And Diamond Miller had a fadeaway.
Van Lith up top. Griner the screen. Van Lith. Miller a 3. Melbourne 10 leaps over Griner. Midway point third quarter. Brown off the catch for 3. Lexi Brown now has 1,000 points in her 2 made threes today.
And you see from Lexi Brown, last year she had a problem cracking the rotation, but now this year a lot more aggressive offensively, calling for pick and rolls.
Brown's been around the block 9 years, won a championship with Chicago, and Brown tees up another. The Boston native off the pike.
And you talk about experience for Lexi Brown in her 9th year in the WNBA.
Whistle from the nearest.
Griner does, because then the younger players foul.
BG still in search of her first block with the Sun. Has a steal today. Morrow as the shot clock dwindles. That's a violation. Connecticut turns it over.
Abbas is defending without fouling. Seattle's gotten to the free throw line 15 of 20 times.
Brown is hit from that spot twice. How about another? Third 3 for Lexi Brown in this second half.
The ball movement, getting the ball from one side of the floor to the other is what opens up Lexi Brown.
60 to 54. Seattle now 7 of 11 from deep. Against Golden State, they were 9 of 26, hit 4 of those triples in the first quarter, and they cooled off. Golden State controlled the game, another perimeter team. Brown has the hot hand. Again? Lexi Brown from downtown. Timeout. Sun.
Continue to play more games together.
Sonia Rahman, the first person of Indian descent to serve as a head coach in the W.
So as before the game, this is an arena she used to come to a lot. And to now be coaching.
Right off Mass Pike into Route 365 to get to Mohegan. Sun need to turn a corner here. Morrow the kick to Miller. The switch by Van Sluten. And a turnover piled up for the Sun here in the third. Flage Johnson with the nifty crossover, mid-range J. They have not scored any points off of turn at recess. They are stuck on 10. A pair of screens of Horns formation. Van Lith stop and start and banks it in.
Van Lith just has the ability to operate in tight spaces, can snake through the defense, and gets to her spots.
Melbourne operates. Morrow switches on. Looks to feed it to Holmes. There's contact from behind. 2 minutes to go in the third. One more foul by the Sun that puts Seattle at the line. Turnover Storm, number 12. Van Lith with her eyes up the floor. Kennedy Burke won a championship with the Liberty in 2024. Signed with the Sun as a free agent. Familiarity with Coach Mezion. It's Van Lith. Feed it, Nelson Adota, 5 to shoot. They swarm Nelson Adota. Van Lith is open. It flutters in.
The intensity offensively is what Connecticut needed right now.
9 points for Van Lith. Brown to Cook, 3 in the air. Rebound Horston, and stripped, but numbers. Miller the zigzag, Burke a 3.